So the question I want to ask today is the feminist movement leaving women single? Is the feminist movement leaving women single? Now, one of the things that I've noticed is that I don't, the feminist movement doesn't teach women to be cooperative. It doesn't teach women to be submissive. It teaches women to be combative, argumentative, and defensive, and always want to fight. And when you talk to a feminist woman, you can know right off the bat she's a feminist. Because when you say anything in regards to women and how women are being conducting themselves in the relationship, they get defensive, they get argumentative. And the first thing they look to do and say is, well, what about the men? And the minute you're talking to a woman and she starts saying, but what about man? And she turns it back on man, that tells you one thing about this woman. This woman don't take responsibility. And the feminist movement doesn't teach women to take responsibility. It teaches women to become defensive. Always put it back over on the man because it's his fault. Now, when you're dealing with individuals like that who are not taking responsibility, it's hard to have any kind of meaningful conversations because people are saying that the conversations are supposed to be had, but when you have a conversation with a bunch of very ignorant, bitter, angry women, that conversation goes nowhere. It ends up either blowing up or basically the train goes right off the track and that argument is squashed and it becomes one-sided. You have somebody who's very argumentative, loud, vulgar, and very bitter and angry. And these are why these women are single. Because if you're not putting them on a pedestal, you're not kissing their ass, you're not treating them like you're a queen, then you pretty much are basically open to shame, insults, and disrespect. And these women are very, very, very disrespectful, and they always have something to say in regards to men. We're talking about relationship. The man is supposed to be blamed for everything, right? And when you look at mainstream media create an environment for feminist women. Most of these women that are on talk shows and basically shows are basically with women alone. Um, you can either take half the host, half the women or the host on that show are feminists and have feminist views. And the minute you start to say something about women that women are not doing in the relationship, then that causes an argument, right? Because now you get pushback. You got a lot of you know disrespect and a lot of belittling, trying to belittle men and talk about men and treat us as we are the problem why they're single. And these are some kind of, like I said, some of the bullshit that are really going on where when you don't take responsibility for your actions, then you're going to put it over on the next person. So basically, you're assuming the role of the victim because victim takes no responsibility for nothing because that's why they're a victim, right? And when you create this kind of environment where toxic and angry, bitter women have a platform where they can speak and spew all this, poison that's coming out of their mouth, it doesn't really help. And the sad thing about it is they don't realize that it's more of a disadvantage to them because if some of these women are heterosexual women and women who want to have kids, the kind of men that you desire, you're not going to get. You're going to get beta males, you're going to get simp, you get guys that are these male that are insecure and clingy, and these guys are not desirable to these women. These women want an alpha male kind of dude, but the problem with that is they don't know how to accommodate an alpha male. They don't know how to get along or cooperate with an alpha male because in a relationship, two alphas can't be in a relationship. That's like putting two bull in one pen. They're literally going to kill each other, right? And when you don't realize that you pretty much are fighting against or being more of an opposition to what you want, you will never get what you want, right? Because a poor man can't be rich if he acts poor and he continue being poor and have the same thoughts of a poor man. He's going to stay poor, right? He has to change his thought and his behavior. And why these women are not realizing that if you're looking for a man and you want to be in a harmonious relationship with a man, then you can't take the feminist views into that because that just won't work. That's oil in the water. It just doesn't work. And a lot of them feel that when you take the views of a feminist and you bring it into a relationship with a man, the only man you're going to stay for is not a man that you're going to respect. Right? And the kind of man that these women are attracting are beta males and guys who are simp, guys who are basically butt kissing and put you on a pedestal. And they tend to, over time or in a short short period of time starting to lose respect for these men because they realize they can disrespect this man and walk over him and treat him like he's dirt and he will stick around. And at the end of the day, they can even turn around and cheat on this man because when you're not respected, the door is open for anything, right? And they don't realize that when you are having that kind of attitude and that kind of energy, you take that kind of behavior into a relationship, it causes all sorts of problems. And if you're dealing with a guy that's grounded and you're dealing with a stand-up guy, he won't stand for that because the disrespect that comes with a feminist belief and a feminist view, because it doesn't create an environment where a man can be in a relationship with you and be in a cooperative relationship, because that relationship is just saying me, do what I want, but I don't have to do what you want. I'm going to do what I want. And then this is the kind of, this is what we're seeing predominantly now with modern day women. And the twist about that is most of these modern day women are looking for the traditional male. A guy's going to open up doors and a guy's going to take them on date, pay for the whole date, treat them like their gold, and say, yeah, we're over. And after a few days, get down on one knees and propose. Now, that in a fairy tale world and in a Disney movie is what you will see. But in real life, what will happen is now a lot of men are walking away from marriages. There are men that are stepping back from marriages because what they see out there, most of these women out there, not even out there, but primarily most of these women in the feminist movement are not marriage material. And the weird thing about it is for the heterosexual women that are in those feminist movement, they're looking for, they're looking to get married. Now, this is where, like I said, it gets really, really, it doesn't make any sense because, the feminist movement is teaching to be uncooperative, combative, argumentative, fighting. But then the man that you're looking to attract, that you're looking to be with, you're fighting against him and you're being very argumentative and want to, make your point of why, you should do what you're supposed to do and he should accept it. But what most of these feminist women are starting to realize is men are not accepting this. We're not accepting your behavior. We don't have to accept anything that we don't want. And as a result, a lot of men are not looking to get married. And that's why the marriage rate is down because Kevin Samuel says one thing that I agree with. And he says, women control access to sex, man control access to relationships. Right? And because man control access to relationships, a lot of men are not marrying these women. And there's a reason for that. Men are not marrying women because we don't want to. We just don't want to put up with the shit. Right, to be frank, because at the end of the day, who wants to live in a relationship when you're arguing and fighting? Who wants to marry a woman who's very bitter and angry and is bringing that out? That right there is cause for a toxic relationship. And these are the kind of relationship that most of these women create when they get into a relationship with a stand-up man that is a grounded kind of man. It's going to be a toxic relationship because you want to deal with him and disrespect him any which way you want, but him on the other hand, he's not accepting that, and as a result the relationship go off the rail. And too often that's the thing that's going on in the relationship, that people not accepting responsibilities. And when you're not accepting responsibilities, what happens is you find yourself by yourself. And as a result, a lot of these women are like they say, doggy moms or kitty moms. And these women have, a growing sex toy collection because there's no man in the bedroom. And don't no man want to be with a woman that's argumentative and don't know how to cooperate. Because the basis of a good relationship is cooperation. And if you're not cooperating, then you can't be with anybody. Because a lot of these women from the sexist movement, they come in a relationship like they're looking for a fight. And you're not supposed to say anything about women. You can't have a point of view, because if you have a point of view and it goes against their belief and it goes against a feminist belief, then you're going to be in for it, because she's going to let you know how she feel. Shame, insults, disrespects, and basically belittlement, really. Little to put you down and disrespect you because you're not continuously putting on her pedestal and you're not agreeing with her point of views, right? Because if you look at most of these women in the feminist movement, a lot of these women are going to die childless and they're going to die single, because no guy that stands for something, who has a backbone, is not going to put up with that shit. And they're not realizing it, and they're not realizing that their behaviors and their attitudes is not helping them, because they're getting older as the day goes on and they're not finding any prospect. most of these women in the feminist movement, they don't have a prospect for marriage, and the guys that they have are not guys that they really desire. They just have a guy to say I have a guy, but not a guy that they feel good about, but they're just trying to have one to say you have one. And this is how a lot of these women are going to end up single, because eventually that relationship is going to fall apart, or it's going to relationship like, you're with your servant, right? Because this guy is a beta male. He's going to kiss up to you and treat you like your gold, and you can disrespect him and he'll stay for it. And for a while, after a while, that gets very, very old, and that doesn't feel to attract you anymore, because at the end of the day, your behavior breathe your results, right? Your behavior breathe your result. So how you behave and how you act is what you're going to get back in return. It's going to work that way. That's how it is. There's no mistake in that, right? So that's my point. I do believe that feminists and the feminist movement are leaving women single, and I believe that that's something that's going to continue if this trend doesn't change. Okay, so that's what I have to say about that for today. And if you have any comments, leave in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.